I think the next is perhaps I would say the easiest introduction I've ever faced. In my 40-year career, long before I became a volunteer for the KGPC. Introducing the next gentleman to the audience in this locale at this time is, well, it's a bit of a mugs game, really. The chairman of Wesley Clover International, renowned for a prolific and inspiring career in global high-tech development and worldwide, Canada, beyond Canada, and a truly supportive friend of Canada and sustainable Greenspace. He needs no introduction here. Please welcome Terry Matthews.
Now, who the hell am I and what the hell am I doing standing up here? That'd be a good question. I've lived in this area for about 55 years. Isn't that a hell of a thing? And I decided to move here because I had a couple of friends here, and I loved the Greenspace and the trip down the Ottawa River Parkway. Man, did that ever do it. See, I know, by the way, it was summertime. I think by the time January came around, I couldn't believe the thickness of the jackets that I'd have to wear. But nevertheless, what an incredible city to live in. This is a great place. And what would I gain or lose? It's the community. I wouldn't gain any profit out of any construction and dense housing that goes on. I don't have a home back and on the golf course. So why am I standing up here? I'm here to defend the community. I'm here to defend a word called integrity. If you sign an agreement, I don't care whether it's land or anything else, there is a 40% agreement that was signed, and well, let's forget that. It was a long time ago. I don't forget agreements. In Canada, we respect agreements. We respect integrity. We are famous for that. We have a great global flag worldwide for business because we are people of integrity. And here's somebody trying to throw integrity out through the window. I have zero time for that. And I really like this community. Now, as it turns out, I took a risk. I called it a tech wave. A guy called Mike Copeland and I partnered. I raised $1,500 to start something up here with some new grads and young people. And I chose a few things which is an incredible learning experience for me. Listen to potential clients and what they want. And if you deliver what they said they want, surprise, surprise, they buy it. I didn't find that too complicated to understand. And the other thing I found, I didn't have enough money to pay people. Well, typically people work, get paid. But new grads, they typically live at home with their parents, and I offered them shares. Now, the interesting thing is this company that we started up, and surprising to many people here perhaps, it was 50 years ago in June of this year. So it's actually a 50-year thing this year. I have a little bit of a celebration. But after 6 months of young people working, really well-educated young people, and by the way, that's still the scene in our community. The education in this city is first class. Make no mistake about it. There are people in this room that I've worked with for a long, long time, and they have been hard work ethic, first class, driving business growth. And I can speak a little bit about that and why it has a direct impact. Do not let ClubLink develop this golf course. Please don't do that. That is a gross error, and it affects the future growth. So I'm going to take you all the way back in time, 50 years ago. You bring young people in, and good God, you give them ownership? They never had ownership before. They're not married, they don't have children, they work 7 days a week because they want to. Not because you tell them to do it, it's because they want to do it. After 6 months, we introduced a product. Pop, 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 touch tone receiver. Now, that touch tone receiver, you might say, what the hell's that got to do with Greenspace? That touch tone receiver developed by Mitel people was about 30 to 40 times smaller than all competitors and 1/10 of the selling price. And even then, by the way, I must tell you, I felt a little bit guilty because it had an 80% gross profit, and I figured is that a little bit too greedy? But it was 10% of the sell price. We dominated the market. Yes, we did. And the company grew, I can tell you, month by month, quarter over quarter numbers I still remember. And that to me was the first wave. Good God, unbelievable. And the second wave was semiconductors, CMOS. Takes almost no current. Good God, that's good for the world of communications. And so, Bromont is the manufacturing, and the other half of this building was the headquarters of Mitel Semiconductor. It grew at a ferocious rate. And then we used semiconductors, that was wave 2. We used those semiconductors to grow software-driven PBXs, and that means all of the different characteristics used. People in this room will have been to London before. Pick up a phone. What does the dial tone sound like? Doesn't sound like the dial tone here. Go to France. Boo! Good God, it's another different tone. So every part of the world has different standards. And what we did, it was software generated. You didn't have to keep making circuit cards. Good God, did the company grow its product. You imagine this is the third wave of catching a global wave, and here's a communication switching system, and I picked up a purchase order for 2,000 machines in Sana'a, North Yemen. Who could have ever thought that in Canada you could develop something and the first major order would be out of Sana'a, North Yemen? Because they didn't have power every afternoon. And the next giant order came out of India. Power down every afternoon, but we had gel cells in the bottom that could keep it running for over 30 hours. Picked up a third wave. Then the world of ISDN came around, and we picked up a fourth wave. ISDN in this complex with a product called S62000. We sold it all over the world, and a key item from the semiconductor side was a thing called DNIC in the world of ISDN. DNIC gave you copper twisted pairs, and instead of 9,600 bits per second data, pop, 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 pop. No. We didn't do that. It was digital. Almost no current, down twisted pair cables, and we got 2 times 64 plus 16, 144 kilobits per second. 2 ways with the DNIC, standardized in BT, standardized by France Telecom, and so on. Why am I telling you this? Because timing is incredibly important with technology. Don't screw up the timing. So the company grew at a hell of a rate. And then Newbridge caught another wave. I call it the 6th tech wave. Timing for digital networks worldwide. Newbridge, good God, what an incredible company. Same formula. You share ownership with the people working there. They work hard because they want to, not because I say, hey, I'm the boss, you do as you're told. They work because they want to work. The company grew in about, what would it be? It was about 12 years. It grew from nothing to a $10.7 billion company, 90% of sales global, not local. Isn't that a hell of a thing when you have a company in Canada with 90% of its business export, the bulk of that being software, 90% gross profit? Anybody that's in business would love the story of having massive exports with a local company, and that helps the economy, it helps the growth, and it helps to drive universities and young people into a mode where they actually gain from that because they have ownership. I don't find that very difficult to understand. And then there was another thing. I bet there's lots of people in this room that use either Teams for video from Microsoft, or they use Zoom, which is very popular. I mean, you're dealing with companies with tens of billions of dollars. Where did that technology come from? I bet most people in this room have no idea that in 2002, 2003, that was a Mitel development right in this tower. Isn't that something? I bet you didn't know that. Go ahead and search real-time cloud communications. Go ahead, do it. And you'll say, good God, like Mitel developed that. I didn't know that. That was like a seventh wave. And here we are. I have a few minutes more to talk. Barbara is very strict on the timing. And there's another wave coming. I call it the eighth wave. It's what I call 5G wireless. You cannot see around you right now what wireless connections are in this room. Yes, you'll pick up your mobile phone and say, my mobile phone works. I know there's wireless here. Okay, true. That's just that piece of spectrum. What you have no idea about is what else is in the room. The world of 5G is not just another mobile phone spectrum. It's sliced and diced for on-demand connectivity. It's global. Let me take a little time to explain to you because it is important in this discussion. A local Canadian company, small on the global basis, called TELUS, is expecting to invest $43 billion in investments for 5G. Good God, like, would that be a big number? They've never, ever in their history ever done that. And that's not much better than half the size of Rogers and Bell Canada. And I didn't talk about AT&T and Verizon, and what about Vodafone and BT and Orange, it used to be France Telecom, and Deutsche Telekom, and I didn't talk about them. This is a business that over the next 10 years is trillions of dollars. And timing in life is almost everything. Do not screw it up. The biggest lab in wireless from Ericsson, one of the biggest global companies in the communications industry, is right here. A VP is in this room tonight. That's correct. Nokia, the headquarters for optical networks, is in Canada North. That's correct, the headquarters. Very senior people. Sienna. Good God, I mean, has anybody seen the corner of March Networks and Terry Fox? Good God, the growth. The growth is driven by the global rollout of 5G and the associated things. You heard tonight from Barbara and others, there's 550 tech companies in Canada North. Some of them are the biggest global entities in the industry. And you may not just understand the implications of that. Ericsson, VP in the room tonight. They have a global mandate. Do not screw up Greenspace. They won't let you pave an area to increase the car parking because they have a global mandate. Oh, Nokia's the same. How about QNX? Who understands that QNX is the operating system for virtually every mobile? Not every mobile, every vehicle. Oh, good God, trucks, cars. I won't ask you what car you've got, but it's about 90% certainty that the operating system in that vehicle that does everything for you is out of QNX. How about that? Talk to John Wall. He's the guy that runs it. I talk to him every week. Talk to Ericsson. See how much they are hiring people. Talk to Nokia. See how much they're hiring people. Don't screw it up. Over 50 years ago, I moved here because I like the Greenspace. So, like, what has that got to do with me? Like, why am I up here? I don't gain anything financially out of stopping this club link, ignoring a 40% agreement with Minto and a few other people who, frankly, I cannot understand why they are supporting this lack of integrity, the wrecking of the center of Canada. This golf course we're talking about is right in the middle of Canada. I have another little story to tell you. In growing Newbridge, to be a $10.7 billion company, if anyone understands the history, we had a big soccer park. Sorry, the company grew so much, I had to make it into a car park. The soil was only a few inches in that soccer park from the rock. Because I've grown buildings in this area, I can tell you that the area doesn't have room for blasting and blowing up rock and so on. Many senior people that work in this industry are aggravated. They don't want to have 10 to 15 years of blasting rock, growing, increasing the amount of density of traffic and congestion and, people buying stuff and finding there's too big a long queue. They don't want to have the area congested. Please don't screw it up. Help Canada North Business Association, help Canada Protection Coalition for Greenspace. We cannot have this to work. We all need to work together and stop it, because timing in life is almost everything. And timing right now for the growth of 5G, the wireless side, the associated applications and solutions, is just starting to take off. I could get into all kinds of details, but I don't think it's worthwhile tonight, because it would take well over an hour to talk about some details that I'm into in all kinds of industry verticals, healthcare, security, governments, and like on and on and on. They're all moving to next generation digital transformation. Don't screw it up. Don't upset the senior people that make decisions. I don't plan to move out of Canada, but if you screw it up, I have enough money to go moving out. Don't make me move out. Don't make other senior people move out. Help them to feel good about Canada. Help them to grow Canada. Help the young people to get jobs in a massively growth industry worldwide. And much of it could be very high margin, great for the economy, great for this area, great for the country. Don't screw it up. Keep fighting. Thank you.